Welcome to the Explainer. Today we're going to do something pretty cool. We're going to crack the code of language itself by breaking down the 8 fundamental parts of speech. So, let me ask you something. Every single time you talk or write an email or even just read a book, you're using this hidden code, this powerful invisible structure. But have you ever stopped to think, what is that structure actually made of?
Well, believe it or not, the answer comes down to one simple number, just 8. That's it. There are only 8 fundamental building blocks that make up, well, everything in the English language.
And look, forget everything you remember about grammar rules from school. I want you to think of these 8 parts of speech like Lego bricks, right? Once you know what each brick does, you can build anything. A simple little sentence, a huge, complex argument, it all comes from the same set of blocks. All right, let's get into it. We're going to start with our first group, and I like to call them the naming crew. Pretty simple, right? Their whole job is to name the what of our sentences. The people, the places, the things we're talking about. And kicking things off for the crew is the noun. You gotta understand, this is the absolute bedrock of any sentence. A noun is just a naming word. Person, place, thing, idea. Without nouns, we'd have no idea who or what we're even talking about. It's that fundamental. And what's cool is that nouns have this incredible range. I mean, they can be super specific, right, like Sarah or Paris, or they can be general, like girl or city. You've got concrete nouns for things you can actually touch, like a table, and then abstract ones for ideas you can't, like love or freedom. And get this, sometimes even an action can be a noun. Like when you say swimming is fun, swimming is the thing we're talking about. Okay, but imagine if you had to say something like, Sarah went to the store because Sarah needed milk. It just sounds clunky, repetitive, right? Well, that's where the next member of the naming crew comes in. The pronoun. Think of it as the noun's official stand-in, designed to make everything we say just flow better. So instead of saying Sarah again, you just swap in she. Easy. And pronouns are so incredibly useful. They can show ownership, words like mine or yours, or they can even refer back to the person doing the action, with a word like myself. All right, so we've got our subjects, our people, places, and things. We've got the naming crew, but what are they doing? What's going on? That brings us to our second team, the action and detail crew. If the first crew is the what, this crew is all about the what happens and what it's like. And the beating heart of this crew is the verb. The verb is literally the engine of the sentence. It's the part that gets things moving. It's the action word, like run, jump, think. But it can also just express a state of being, words like is or seems or feels. Now, here's a really interesting thing about verbs. Some of them need to transfer their action onto something. You can't just say, she kicked. The sentence feels incomplete, right? You have to tell us what she kicked, the ball, the can, whatever. We call those transitive verbs. But other verbs, like laughed or slept, they're totally fine on their own. He laughed. The end. Complete thought. Okay, so we've got our nouns and our verbs. The car drove. It's a sentence, sure, but it's kind of boring. It's black and white. To add color, to add detail, we need adjectives. Their one and only job is to describe the nouns, the naming crew. Adjectives are what give us all the good stuff, the specifics. It's not just a car, it's a red car. See? Instantly better. It's not just cheese, it's French cheese. They're literally painting a clearer, more vivid picture in your head. But wait a second. What if we want to describe the action? How the car drove? That's where the adverb comes in. It's a great little rule of thumb. If adjectives describe nouns, adverbs describe, pretty much everything else, but especially the verbs. Adverbs are awesome because they answer all those crucial questions about the action. How did he run? He ran quickly. When did she arrive? She arrived yesterday. Where did he stand? He stood here. They just add this whole other layer of information and detail. Okay, quick recap. We have our nouns, the subjects. We have our verbs and all the details, the action. But how do we stick all these pieces together so they make sense? That's the job of our third and final team, the connecting crew. Think of them as the grammatical glue that holds the whole structure together. And first up in this crew are prepositions. These are basically your location and relationship words. They're the little words that tell you where or when something is in relation to something else. The cat is under the table. The meeting is at 3 o'clock. See? They build the framework of the sentence. Okay, so what about when we want to connect different ideas? For that, we need conjunctions. These are the bridges of our language. They let you connect single words, whole phrases, or even complete sentences so you can build bigger, more complex thoughts. And the most common ones you can actually remember with a super handy acronym, FANBOYS. It stands for and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. And each one has a slightly different job, and just adds things together, while but shows a contrast. Really useful little tool. And last but not least, for those moments when you just need a little punch, a little spice, we have interjections. What's fun about these is they aren't really connected to the grammar of the sentence at all. They're just pure, raw emotion. Yeah, they're just these little bursts of feeling, like wow when you're surprised, or ouch when you stub your toe. Oh no, when something goes wrong. They're what add that really human, emotional flavor to the way we talk. So, there you have it, a quick tour of all 8 parts of speech. Let's pull it all back together and look at the big picture. What is this code we've just unpacked? It really helps if you zoom out and think about it in terms of those 3 crews we talked about. You've got the name and crew, your nouns and pronouns that give you your subject, then the action and detail crew, verbs, adjectives, adverbs, they bring it all to life. And finally, the connecting crew. Prepositions, conjunctions, interjections, they organize it all and hold it together. It's that simple. Look, at the end of the day, understanding these 8 building blocks isn't about passing some grammar test. It's about gaining real, conscious control over how you communicate. It gives you the power to be more precise, more persuasive, heck, more powerful with your words. So, the code is yours now.